You are now listening to Wolf Sports Network, live from the University of West Georgia in Carrollton, now in Odyssey Station.
We're back, baby. It's season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket, where the takes are cold and there is zero chill.
That's right. We're back with controversy. We're calling out the fakes, the frauds, and the failures.
Cash or Trash is back too. Your takes, your trades, we judge it all.
And we're bringing you stats, smack talk, and sleepers in our segment, Fantasy Football.
And then we take you down to the 2-minute warning, where we try to plead our case on horrible sports takes.
And we're melting the ice with the return of Fire Me Up.
And you already know we bring you the coldest interviews in sports radio.
This is the Philly Sports Guy.
This is former MLB All-Star Justin Masterson.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York.
What up, guys? It's Tyrell Adams, former UWG linebacker.
One vet, 3 rookies. Sports Out of Pocket Season 6. Zero chill. Ho, 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 ho. Happy holidays, everybody listening to Sports Out of Pocket. Welcome to our holiday special of the Season 6 Sports Out of Pocket finale. I'm your host, as always, Jackson Voles, and across from me, I have the reindeer. Introduce yourself.
I am JT Groves, the reindeer, Santa's own reindeer, the favorite, by the way. Yep. All right, you can go ahead.
That's up for debate. You
can go ahead.
And to the left of me, the Yeti, the abominable snowman.
From the movie Rudolph, if you're not familiar with that.
I mean, you don't really look like him. You look more like a Care Bear, but that's another debate for another debate. Debate for another day.
This guy.
Man, I'm slipping up on my words. It's so icy in here, man. And to the right of me,
Zero chill.
taking over Chase's spot, as always, Grady Hamilton. How's your day going, man?
It's going great. I didn't dress up in a Christmas costume because 2 weeks ago I've been in rehab for the Kyle Pitts thing. So that's why I wasn't on the show 2 weeks ago. I apologize about that. And I just got my phone back and didn't see the message in time. So I'm sorry about that, guys.
Dude, It's all good. We have a
Glad you're back.
we have a jam-packed holiday special episode today. We're going to be talking about an SEC coach going from Ole Miss to LSU down in Baton Rouge. We're going to be talking about some NFL top-tier teams having some mishaps heading into the later half of the season, some NBA, some college football playoffs. And with that, let's get into the show.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
We in here talking about practice.
It's time for the latest sports controversies. Now, no new news to anybody, but Lane Kiffin has skipped town out of Oxford and has taken a flight to Baton Rouge in Louisiana. They're only like a game or two away from the college football playoffs, one of their first Ole Miss college football playoff bursts in years. I want to start with JT Groves. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that it's the best for Lane Kiffin. I feel like he is going to find more success at LSU. Me personally, I know that's kind of controversial. Oh, that's the name of the segment. But I think that Lane Kiffin has a better opportunity at LSU. It's a better known program, better history. And with Lane Kiffin going there, he's going to have a better recruiting class. Like he did the right thing.
Michael, let's throw it to a guy who has college football ball knowledge and, thinks the opposite of this.
I do not think the opposite of this at all. Okay, JT's exactly right. LSU, I'm sorry, I'm going to hold this mic because I want to stand up the right way. So, yeah, but JT's right. LSU is one of the top 5 jobs in college football.
Yeah.
There's Tier 1 jobs, there's Tier 2 jobs. Now, Lane has risen Ole Miss up to about a Tier 2 level, I would say. But at LSU, what you can do there, like the resources they have, and Nick Saban said himself, in the state of Louisiana, you shake a tree, a 5-star receiver falls out of it. So LSU's going to do really good with Lane Kiffin over there. It makes sense for him. I hate it for the players, but they're rallying around Pete Golding. Charlie Weiss is going to be able to stay there for the playoffs, so Ole Miss could still have success without him.
I mean, I truly feel bad for Ole Miss, and I mean, you shake a tree, a 5-star wide receiver falls out. I mean, we've seen it with Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbors, Jamar Chase, and recency. Grady, you're a big Georgia Bulldogs fan. You may have some SEC bias to this, but what are your thoughts on Lane Kiffin heading to Baton Rouge?
Everybody in the situation is equally stupid. Ole Miss is stupid for letting it go on for as long as it could. Lane Kiffin is stupid for trying to play this in a way that makes it seem like he's not the villain to the Ole Miss fans. He's the bad guy in the situation, and that's okay. Like, it's understandable. He is breaking Ole Miss players' hearts to go to a better team, and like in the fans' hearts, that's okay. But it doesn't make him not the bad guy in the situation. He comes out on Twitter talking about, I wanted to coach in the playoffs, guys. I really wanted to, but they wouldn't let me. You're coaching at LSU. You're like 40 miles down the road coaching at a different college now. No duh, they're not going to let you coach in the college football playoff. I just don't know what they're doing in this situation. It was just dumb for Ole Miss to let Lane Kiffin like jingle the keys in front of their faces for so long and be like, all right, see you guys, I'm walking out the door.
Yeah, Lane's definitely the villain, but I mean, sometimes you got to be the villain if it's what's best for you. That's all I got to say.
And that's okay. Like, if you have that stance, that's okay. It's just crazy for Lane Kiffin to try to act like he's the victim here because he can't coach in the college football playoff. You did that to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very unfortunate for, Ole Miss fans, Ole Miss players, who have worked hard all season. I mean, it's a great opportunity for Lane Kiffin. I mean, a top 5 job landing spot, especially in all of college football, that had opened up after the Brian Kelly firing. So, I mean, great on Lane Kiffin. I mean, it's a $92 million contract. From what I heard from, my inside sources behind the TriCaster over there. Shout out John Halley. By the way, tune in Sports Pack tomorrow for John Halley's final episode at WSN. Super bittersweet, sad to see him go, but he's on to greater things. He's on to great things here at the University of West Georgia, so shout out to him. Who else is on to greater things? Like Lane Kiffin. I mean, it's very, very on. Grady.
Sorry, I wanted to say something from my inside sources. Apparently, somehow Lane Kiffin convinced LSU they're going to have to buy out his postseason bonus. So if Ole Miss somehow wins the college football playoffs, LSU is going to have to pay him whatever Ole Miss would have paid in the bonus. How do you shake down a Division I school for that much money? That is ridiculous.
Put Jimmy Sexton in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, they had a legitimate shot at a deep run in the playoffs. So I want to ask this, a proposed question throughout the table. Where do you think Ole Miss stands on their trajectory heading in deep into the playoffs with Pete Golding at the helm and obviously Lane Kiffin on the plane to Baton Rouge? Michael?
I have some concerns with Pete Golding as a head coach. I know why they did that, and I think they had to do it. Pete Golding was not a very good defensive coordinator when he was at Alabama. He got fired from there. He really hasn't been great at Ole Miss here. Their defense is not really too stout. I think Ole Miss wins a first-round game, especially because they'll be playing in Oxford, obviously, like we saw in the playoff rankings the other night. I don't think they win a quarterfinal game, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. This team is not the same without Lane Kiffin. I don't think this team goes very far, like you mentioned. Like, their defense has not been good already, and moving your defensive coordinator to that head coaching position since Lane is gone, I don't see him going very far in this playoff. I maybe saw him making a second round, maybe even a semifinal push, but I don't see that anymore.
I'm going to say something that might be controversial. I don't think that Ole Miss should be in the college football playoff. I think it's ridiculous and a miscarriage of justice if they continue to be in the college football playoff after what they did to FSU. They set a precedent with that year with FSU. So unless they come back out and say that this is a different situation, they should remove Ole Miss from the playoffs.
I mean, the only thing different in this situation is that's a 4-team playoff compared to a 12-team playoff. That's the only thing that's really different in this situation, Grady.
The crazy thing, though, is they just jumped them a spot. Like, if they kept them at 10 and be like, okay, we're not going to move them because we don't know how they're going to react to this, they moved them up a spot for losing their head coach. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Under any circumstances.
I mean,
I don't think they should have moved. I think that they should have stayed where they were at. Like, do the regular rankings as if Lane Kiffin was still there. And, I mean, they got to that point. They deserved that spot. But now that Lane Kiffin's gone, see how they perform in the playoff. If they're too high of a seed, so be it. It's one season. It was a weird season. You're losing your head coach going into the playoff. I mean, just let it be. Let them stay where they're at.
If Alabama loses the SEC championship game, I think Ole Miss needs to be kicked out of the playoffs. Like, I think that if it comes between keeping Alabama or keeping Ole Miss in, you got to say goodbye to Ole Miss.
I think what's different about it, too, is that with the Florida State thing, like you saw Florida State play 3 games without Jordan Travis, and it was clear that affected the team in a big way. With Ole Miss, you're not going to get to see that. The first time you see Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin is going to be in the college football playoff. I do think it's interesting they jumped him, though. That doesn't really make any sense to me. And I have a cash or trash later about what the committee did last night, too, about Notre Dame, because I think there's a lot of conniving and scheming going on with the committee.
I mean, it's very, very interesting with the ins and outs in the college football playoff. But, I mean, Ole Miss, Pete Golding is in. Lane Kiffin is on the outs. And you know who else is on the outs? My fantasy football team heading into the playoffs, potentially. And with that, let's get into some fantasy football.
It's that time of the year again, and we're talking all things fantasy. Whether you're a 10-year vet or a first-year rookie, we've got you covered with some fantasy football.
Now, I was a top 4 team within the first, 6 to 7 weeks of, this fantasy football season so far, and then injury after injury after injury. And then also the past 2 weeks, I lost back-to-back weeks to Grady Hamilton and Richard Reed. With the Grady Hamilton, I wouldn't have expected Jahmyr Gibbs to drop 47 on a random week, and then maybe like 22 to 25.
Let me say something. I messaged in the group chat. I said that was my Super Bowl.
That was your Super Bowl?
I coached him like it was my Super Bowl. All I wanted to do was hand Jacksonville as a big L before I got straight up eliminated from playoff contention.
But I have like maybe a 5% chance to make the playoffs as of right now. I'm starting Jared Goff over Daniel Jones. I don't know how much of a big of a difference that's going to make. T. Higgins is back. I made a trade with Aiden Abe that kind of screwed me over in the end. I traded away Bijan Robinson for Breece Hall and Michael Pittman Jr. because, I had Daniel Jones in the Michael Pittman Jr. stack, and then Breece Hall had been performing well as of lately. So, and also I had T. Higgins out on the IR for last week versus Richard Reed, and I thought that would have helped. Breece Hall did put up really solid numbers, 14.5 fantasy football points, but then you look on the other side, Michael Pittman Jr., I should have seen it in the lighting, in the Aurora Borealis, in the Northern Lights, and unfortunately, I didn't, and he only put up like 2 points. So my fantasy football team might be on the outs on a 4-game losing streak, but I want to throw it to a guy who might be on the ins for a fantasy football playoff. My Yeti over here, Michael Miller, Drake May. Drake May. Drake May.
Drake May.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
We got it.
But Drake May, what are your thoughts on your fantasy football team heading in the last week of the regular season and heading into the playoffs?
If we win, we're in. If we lose, it's all over.
Good outlook.
It's not looking good. We got a 50-50 shot this week against Aaron, and that's because Drake May and Trayvon Henderson both have a bye week this week on the most important week of the season. So Tyrod Taylor is going to have to lead this team into the postseason. I don't feel great. I don't feel terrible. We could win. We could lose. This team's been very up and down. I thought 2 weeks ago I was a playoff lock, playing really well, and then the last 2 weeks we just sucked. I've not played well at all. Alvin Kamara getting hurt is not helping. Tajay Spears having to play, and he's not doing bad, but he's not Alvin Kamara, obviously. So it just kind of is what it is. This team's pretty mid. If I get to the playoffs, either JT or Aiden will kill me anyway. So
Michael, you were my mentee back when you were a Wit, so if I don't make the playoffs, you're the team I'm rooting for in the playoffs. But on the flip side, I want to talk about a guy who is scraping at the very bottom of the barrel and trying not to land in last place and potentially face a punishment due to the winner of the fantasy football championship round, Grady Hamilton. How are you feeling about, the last week of the season and then the consolation bracket, personally for you after being eliminated a week or two ago?
The consolation bracket is going to get absolutely ran like no one's ever seen in their entire lives. This is going to be the greatest consolation bracket run of all time. Like I can confidently say this. Richard's going to get whooped next week.
He never gave you Kyle Pitts, by the way.
I don't care. Remember,
it's your revenge game.
I went to therapy for that. That's okay. I'm a different person now. Kyle Pitts is in my past, unfortunately. But Richard's going to get it this week, belt regardless if he gave me Kyle Pitts or not.
Yep.
So that's all I got to say.
It's valid.
Now, JT, you're one of the top 2 spots in the fantasy football league, fleecing Joey, robbing of the fantasy poor. We've said it time and time again all season long, and it's been absolutely true. You made Joey Prater go into a mental breakdown. Rewind the clip, John. I'm playing. We can't do that. We don't have the luxury of that. Of Joey Prater's breakdown in the group chat he's like, I thought a guy was my friend, and he told me he was my friend, and he promised me he wouldn't fleece me. But JT, how are you feeling heading into the last week of the regular season, heading into the playoffs?
So I rebutted off of that, by the way, after apparently I fleeced Joey earlier in the season, and I gave him Jamar Chase for Trey McBride and Khalil Shakir. So since week 8 against Aiden Abe, when I lost by like 40 points, I have not had a close matchup other than against Grady. Shout out Grady. But like week 9, I beat Michael by 50 points. Week 10 was against Grady. I only won by 11. Week 11, 52-point win against Jackson. Week 12, 50-point win against Richard. And now, week 13, I just beat Brandon by like 70 points. I think I doubled the score. So very, very clearly sitting near the top of this league. Most points for, also have the least points against me because I play defense. I strike fear into my opponents. I've played that.
You mean your players strike fear into
No,
your
I
opponents?
personally talk to my players and I say, you need to strike fear into the other team. And that's shown. Not a single team has scored over 100 points against me in these past 3 or 4 weeks. And so this week I'm going against Brennan. Chance to knock him out of the playoffs and maybe even secure Michael's spot in the playoffs if I knock Brennan down. So I'm feeling really good going into the postseason. Really like my roster, have the best tight end in the league. You could consider the best wide receiver in the league, best running back in the league, one of the best quarterbacks. And my team's good all around, and there's really no holes in my team. I'm going all the way.
This is the most lopsided fantasy league I've ever seen in my entire life. Just by the way, for the viewers at home that can't see what we're looking at here, there are 2 playoff locks, which are Aiden and JT.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 people that are currently tied for 5th place, 4 people tied for 10th place. I hold last place to myself, and then Drake Miller and Richard Reed are currently tied for our 3rd place. This is ridiculous. Like, just looking at this is insane.
So we have one more week left, and only 2 spots have been clinched. So 4 spots are still available, and really all the way down to Brandon Dyer here in basically 12th place. They all still have a shot. I mean,
Brandon has a 1% chance.
But it's a chance. If Brandon wins and he goes crazy in points, and then everybody loses that he needs to lose, it's definitely possible. Michael, you're in a good spot. You're 7-6 right now. If you lose, you still can make it. Like, you're sitting at a 79% chance to make it right now. So I'd say Richard's definitely the lock to get that 3rd seed maybe. But really, this entire playoff bracket is up for chance because, I mean, we saw Joey come from absolutely nothing to now he is currently sitting in 5th.
Yeah,
I want to throw it out there very quick. Coming
Shout
down
out
to
Joey.
The 2-minute warning. I mean, we had the 2-minute warning as a segment earlier on this season. You could potentially see it in season 7, my retirement tour of Sports Out of Pocket in the spring. But I mean, we had 2 great takes. I mean, we talked about Joey Prater, which it was a joke take at the time. Can Joey Prater come back and become a playoff team, one of the top teams in the league? I mean, it was absolutely insane. It was absolutely insane. That was thrown out by JT Groves.
That was my cash or trash.
Yes. Cash or trash. My bad. But also in the 2-minute warning. I mean, very first 2-minute warning we did. Michael Miller threw out that the Indianapolis Colts were going to turn around and make a playoff push, even with Daniel Jones at the helm. And I mean, that was turned around. I mean, NFL football is something that's in any given Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or maybe even a random Wednesday throughout the season that, you could see with these players having, consistencies and inconsistencies throughout the season. And anything can happen in an injury. So, I mean, it's definitely something to look out for. Honestly, my team is on the outs. My team is super trash. And speaking of that, before we get into that, we're going to go into a quick break, show some love to the other shows. But when we come back, we have some insane cash or trashes centering the NFL world. Stay tuned.
Hey, yo, what up? My name is Josh Martinez from Z100 New York, and you're listening to my dudes from the Sports Out of Pocket on the Wolf Sports Network.
Man, this beat brings back memories. Anyways, let me tell you all about this show on Wolf Sports Network. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. Get with the playbook. It's the playbook. Hear us talk about all college basketball, football, and baseball. Fridays at noon. The Playbook, only on Wolf Sports Network. It ain't just a game. It's everything. This is where the best separate themselves from the rest. But to be the best, you gotta read the best. And the best is the Playbook. Let's go. Yeah, go. Tune into the Playbook, Fridays at noon on Wolf Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live at Playbook Training Camp. Now we throw it down to Joey, who's interviewing head coach Brandon Dyer.
Thanks, JT. I'm here with head coach Brandon Dyer. And Brandon, there have been many reports about starting punter Jackson Voss, saying that he peaked in high school. Now, what are your thoughts on how he will perform this semester with the playbook?
Well, Joey, I have full confidence that Jackson Voss will be a breakout star for the playbook this season. And you'll find out Fridays at noon only on Wolf Sports Network.
Step right up, folks. It's season 2 of the playbook, where we're talking everything college basketball and baseball and...
Wait, Jackson. Dude, it's fall. And just like a playbook, I think we need to call an audible.
Ready. Omaha, hot.
We are talking strictly college football all semester on season 2 of the playbook, Fridays at noon, only on Wolf Sports Network.
Will our mouths write a check that we can't cash? Find out when we answer the question on everyone's mind. Cash or trash?
This is the last time in 2025 for Sports Out of Pocket to write a check that our mouths cannot cash. And I want to start with me, starting with the NFL topic, continuing on with that. I mean, the Chiefs and the Ravens in the past years have been top-tier teams in the NFL, not just in the AFC, but all around the league. And I want to start with this. Both teams are 6-6. We've seen the regression of Lamar Jackson since coming off the injury. I mean, the first couple games off the injury, he was fine. He looked like MV3, MVP Jackson. But unfortunately, that hasn't been the case in the past couple weeks. And then you see Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs after 2 back-to-back Super Bowl runs, going into Week 13 with the 6-6 record, absolutely abysmal after losing to the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. So let me propose this. I want to say that the Kansas City Chiefs are in a deeper hole when it comes to a playoff push heading into the later half of the season than the Baltimore Ravens are. JT?
I see it as pretty even. I mean, the Chiefs obviously have a very tough schedule ahead of them. They play the Texans this next week, and then they play the Chargers, and then they play the Broncos on Christmas Day. So, Santa, if you're listening, if there's anything I want, it's a Chiefs loss on Christmas Day. But the Ravens just don't have an easy game left. And, I mean, we've seen them. They're starting to come back. They're starting to make that playoff push. Now that Lamar Jackson's back, they're back to full health. But they play the Steelers twice still. They play the Packers. They play the Patriots. And they play the Bengals again, who are now back fully healthy with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, that duo. I mean, I think the Ravens have a worse shot at making the playoffs because they have a lot tougher of a schedule. But I could see a world where neither of these teams make it.
I mean, I understand. I mean, Cam Newton made the take on First Take where he said that, Lamar Jackson's been in a consistent role of fumbles and turnovers. I mean, we saw like two fumbles in the last game that the Ravens played for Lamar Jackson alone and himself, and he's been a guy who's been able to keep control of the ball when he's either running or throwing it. So I don't know what is going wrong. I understand that, quarterbacks and players have slumps when it comes time to time again, but I mean, this isn't the same Lamar Jackson we've seen year after year after year.
Yeah, if the Ravens have a chance to make the playoffs, they're going to have to win the division. I don't think they are going to be able to make it as a wild card team. I mean, especially with playing the Steelers twice still, I feel like they're going to have to sweep the Steelers if they want a shot.
And how deep that AFC West is with the Chargers, Broncos, and the Chiefs, I mean, absolutely insane.
I feel like as a player like Lamar Jackson, if you look at it, it's just kind of hard to keep up like consistent success with because he does everything on offense. If you look at it, and it's just kind of hard to keep up like putting up that much effort and work into it. I don't think he's like a complete fall off. I just think he's just in a slump right now. I think that really is more what it is, a slump more than so a fall off. I think he's going to be able to come back and be fine. And I think the Baltimore Ravens are in a better spot because I think the winning the division isn't ridiculous. The Steelers are on their average fall off towards the end of the season, so those games are basically free. If I see the Steelers on the schedule right now, I'm checking that off. Easy W, easy W. The wheels are falling off that team. It's okay, JT. You can disagree with me, but that's fine. And so I believe in my boy Lamar Jackson. We're tight like that, so I believe they're making the playoffs.
I will say it is a divisional game, though, and those are always tough no matter what. I mean, we've seen better teams in a division get upset by a much worse team in a division plenty of times so far this season. So I could definitely see, I mean, the Ravens and Steelers, when they go at it, it's always a good game. Same with the Ravens and Bengals. That's always a good game, and it could go really either way no matter how good one team is compared to the other.
Michael Miller?
I would probably agree with you that Chiefs are in a deeper hole this year just because of their division being tougher. Obviously, Baltimore can still very well win the division and they'll get in. Kansas City that's probably out the window at this point. They're probably going to have to get a wild card spot if they're going to get in this in the playoff. But we have seen though before 2 years ago, 2023, the Chiefs were kind of the same situation. They finished season 10-7 or 11-6. It was one of the two, and ended up winning the Super Bowl again. So if they get hot at the right time, I'm never going to doubt Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. They have not. This is definitely a worse performance though this year than what I saw 2 years ago out of them. And like we just said, their division is much tougher. So really, both of them are in tough spots. Lamar Jackson, I don't trust though because of the injury he had this year. So trying to work back from that, I just think it's gonna be more inconsistent play. So if I had to pick one, I'd say Kansas City's probably gonna end up making it. If I had to pick between the two of them.
So I want to ask very quick around the table another hypothetical question. I mean, we talked about Alabama's dynasty potentially dying, but they turned the narrative around on that. I want to talk about the NFL team who's been on a consistent dynasty run since Mahomes got drafted back in 2017. Is the Chiefs dynasty over?
I'd say yes. I mean, I hate to say it as much it is. They're not making a far push in the playoffs. If they don't even make the playoffs this year, 100% it's over. I mean, you're talking they were consistently a 1 seed or a 2 seed the past 3-4 years, however long it's been since Mahomes been in the league, whatever it is. But you're talking this is a team that is at 500 on the season so far. They can't afford to lose another game or else they are probably going to miss the playoffs, and they have such a tough schedule. I don't think this Chiefs team is even close to being one of the best teams in the league anymore. Now, I know you're going to say Mahomes, January, playoff time. He is that guy. He's probably the best quarterback when it comes to playoff football. But I don't see this Chiefs team even making the playoffs this season.
Grady?
It depends on what you're going to talk about, like a dynasty being. In my opinion, I would think that the Chiefs still have a dynasty because 1 year missing the playoff doesn't like ruin a dynasty. In the same way that you mentioned, Alabama's going to come back this year after having a terrible year last year. I do agree with JT. They're in dire straits this year. This is definitely a bad year. But dynasties, if you say that a dynasty can have a down year, then I definitely believe this is still a dynasty just as much as any other dynasty.
That is fair. It's only been 1 season, but I think that it's going to start going downhill from here.
Because Patrick Mahomes, I would still maintain is a top 3 quarterback in the league, just like skill wise. He may not always play like it, but I think it's hard to argue he's not a top 3 skill wise, like IQ wise quarterback in the league.
I mean, the Chiefs are in dire need. So, I mean, it's going to be absolutely insane. And considering how tough the AFC competition is with the Buffalo Bills, with the New England Patriots, and, the resurgence of the New England Patriots over there, how tough this AFC West is with the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos, and the AFC South. I mean, the Colts have emerged as a top 2, top 3 team in the AFC. So, I mean, anything can happen.
I mean, yeah, with the AFC South, like you mentioned, like there's 3 teams that could make a playoff push. I mean, the AFC is so tough. Other than the Titans, you have the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Colts are all teams that could make a playoff push, and they could pull off some upsets when it comes to playoff time. And we've seen in seasons past, the AFC South was like the worst division, no doubt. Mm-hmm. But now it's starting to look like one of the better ones so far this season.
I mean, we could see what happens in the later half of the season, but Michael Miller, I know you have a cash or trash for the holiday episode.
I do. So I was watching the playoff rankings last night, and I noticed something very interesting. I think everybody else did too. That Alabama, for whatever reason, jumps Notre Dame in the playoff rankings. And I got 2, and I have one reason why I think that happened. All right. So they're sitting there, and the guy comes on, and he gives the dumbest explanation I've ever heard in my life.
They were up 17-0 against Auburn.
They had a 17-0 lead against Auburn. They then got outscored 20-3 after that.
They ran the ball really well.
Tied the game. Notre Dame freaking ends the year just blowing everybody out, like just killing everybody. Yep. They give Alabama credit for beating a 5-win Auburn team by 7 because they made a gutsy 4th down call, and that was the reason they get ahead of Notre Dame. The reason I think they did that is I think they are conniving and scheming for a way that they can drop Notre Dame out of this and put Miami back in.
I don't think that Alabama deserves a spot. I mean, if they win the SEC championship, put them in. But if they lose the SEC championship, keep them out. Notre Dame 100% deserves a spot. Miami, you could argue. I mean, you're going to go back to the game, Miami versus Notre Dame. Yes, Miami won that game. But when you look at the rest of the schedule that Miami had, it's like, it's not really fitting. I don't know. I don't feel like they deserve it.
We need to take JT to a hospital immediately to get him checked after that statement he just made. You're saying that the second best team in the SEC shouldn't make the. Sorry, I'm gonna get sidetracked. We'll come back to this and fire me up so I can yell at you.
All right.
When our mics are
when
our mics are at the proper level.
He's saying the second best team in the SEC doesn't deserve a spot in the playoff, but Notre Dame, who has credible losses. I mean, they put up a phenomenal run game showing versus Pitt with Jeremiah Love, who we talked about it on the playbook. I mean, we talked about Heisman contenders, and Jeremiah Love definitely is. He's been one of the best running backs in all of college football. But you think that Alabama, a second-ranked team in the SEC, when we've discussed all season long that there are going to be 4 or 5 teams in the SEC that makes a playoff push and makes that playoff spot, so you think that they deserve it over you don't think that they don't deserve it over Notre Dame?
I don't think they do.
Wait, time out. Let's cycle back to the original cash or trash that we had here.
Yeah.
I think that the college football, I think this is cash. The college football playoff committee is setting up Notre Dame for the craziest alley-oop of all time, where Miami's going to dunk on top of their heads and kick them right out of the college football playoff. It's going to be hilarious. Next week they're going to say, well, they're back-to-back now. Notre Dame's 9, Miami's 10, and Miami has the head-to-head. So Notre Dame, I'm sorry, buddy, we'll have to see you next year.
I can see a world where they both make it.
I'm going to add on to this, too. I also think the reason why they jumped Alabama, I think it's like a 2-for-1 here, because one, you can put Notre Dame out, But also, here's the deal with Alabama, and I'll say this: I think regardless of what happens on Saturday, I think Alabama should be in, because if you're going to be in the playoff, if you're going to punish a team for playing an extra game, which is supposed to be a reward for something they earned, a committee didn't decide the SEC championship game. Both Georgia and Alabama have the two best conference records compared to, obviously, Ole Miss has a 7-1 record too in A&M, but based off of strength of opponents, they have the top two. They earned that right to play in that game. If you're going to punish somebody for playing an extra game, other people sit at home. I think that's very kind of contradicting.
Mm-hmm.
And also on top of that, the other thing is this: if the SEC, Alabama, people are confused about this too. Alabama is the number 1 seed in the SEC championship game. They finished as the number 1 seed this year. If the SEC sees their number 1 seed get knocked out of a playoff, the SEC is going to burn this entire thing to the ground. The college football playoff is going to be in complete turmoil if that happens.
I mean, I completely agree, but there's a lot wrong when it comes to college football. The transfer portal window, I mean, CFP rankings. I mean, college football playoffs when it comes up to this one heading into the 2026 year. I mean, we'll get into that in the Fire Me Up. But honestly, Alabama and all these teams in the SEC are soaring to new heights, up in the skies, just like Santa on a flight path. With that, let's get into that segment.
Welcome aboard Sports Out of Pocket Airlines. This is your Captain Jackson Voles speaking, and we're about to talk the highs and the lows in the sports world. It's time for Flight Path.
Now, with Flight Path, we are going to kind of convert this into a Christmas-related flight path like we did with Thanksgiving. Now, I know, Grady, you weren't on the Thanksgiving one because you were at your Kyle Pitts therapy retreat out in Atlanta or Florida or wherever, you were. But I want to start with you. For the Christmas and, everything centered around the holidays, what are you high on and what are you low on?
I'm high on fruitcake cookies. Fruitcake cookies are like amazing. When my grandma made them, they're really tough. Is that what we're doing here? Sorry, I missed it.
That's
I'm really high
valid.
on fruitcake cookies. And I'm really low on Santa Claus. That guy's low-key a poser. Anybody have anything to say about that? Good.
I mean, JT, your thoughts?
That's definitely a take. I mean,
you're a
I would love to try these cookies. Maybe I'm judging a book by its cover. I don't know, but like the way I was not expecting something like that. I was expecting like, oh yeah, presents. Like I thought you'd be high on Santa Claus. Like putting on. All right, what I'm high on personally.
Hold on, JT. No, I need to give your thoughts on Santa Claus because you're a reindeer.
Oh, that's my boy.
That's my boy. Dog.
Okay,
that's my dog.
So you're high on Santa Claus, but that's not going to be your high for this?
That's not going to be my high for this. My high for this is going to be helping my dad with Christmas lights. I mean, you might think it sucks sometimes, like you're outside in the cold, you're having to help your dad, but you're getting woken up really early. You're working out there for like 5 hours, depending on like what kind of family you have. My dad loves putting up Christmas lights each year, and he's not one of those guys that just does the inflatables. That's not his style. He goes with all around the house, decorate the entire front yard. But I love doing that. I love spending time with my dad, being able to decorate those Christmas lights, and then going inside and my mom has hot chocolate for us. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm very high on. I love that day, and then getting to see the progress at the end of it. Like when if you've built something in your life and you see the finished product, you are very proud of what you've done. And so whenever I see Christmas lights and I'm like, I was a part of that, I'm very proud of myself. So that's what I'm high on. What I'm low on, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what I'm low on. I can't really think of anything bad about Christmas. I love Christmas. I love the holidays.
Santa Claus is a dork. He's a poser. He's a punk.
So, like Richard Reed not giving you Kyle Pitts?
No, it's okay. I'm past that. Richard Reed's a punk, but for other reasons.
All right, that's the next cash or trash. Who's worse, Richard Reed or Santa
Claus?
I feel like Richard Reed would throw coal at you. I mean, I don't know if Santa Claus would, but
hey, kids at home, cover your ears. Santa Claus isn't real, and he's still better than Richard Reed.
I want to hire. I want to go higher than helping my dad with Christmas lights. The Santa tracker. So Santa is real, 100%. By the way. If he wasn't, they would not have a Santa tracker. So what are you doing to my mic, Jackson? Listen to me right now.
It's already
the Santa tracker is real, and Santa is real, and you can literally see him flying with me. I'm his homeboy. I can tell you firsthand. I've seen Santa Claus. That's my home dog. And you're gonna sit here and tell me that he's not real? Unbelievable. I'm low on Grady.
If Santa Claus breaks into my home, I'm gonna shoot him with a Nerf gun. He's going to get blicked down. This is going to be a home invasion story.
Who gave you that Nerf gun?
My parents.
Have you seen Die Hard?
It's not what Santa told me. That should have been a cash and
Have you seen
know
Die Hard?
what I'm really high on? Jameis Winston playing in snow games.
Oh, yes.
He's God's gift to football. If you ever have watched this man just having a jolly time out in the field, he's the embodiment of the Christmas spirit in football, and I can't really explain it any other way than that.
I mean,
the horses prepared for battle.
Yeah, the horses are prepared for battle.
Dude, I would say Alvin Kamara and LaShawn McCoy's a good throwback. I mean, he was good on the Bills and Philadelphia Eagles when it came to Christmas games. I mean, Alvin Kamara had a total of 6 or 7 total touchdowns.
Oh my gosh.
In the Christmas game back there. I mean, he's heading into the ripe age of 30 years old coming up soon. And Alvin Kamara, I mean, he's been, a little bit on the injured list throughout this season. But, I mean, maybe he can make a resurgence during the Christmas game. You never know when it comes to New Orleans. And Alvin Kamara, Christmas Kamara. So, I mean, throw it out there. But Michael Miller, what are you high and low on for the Christmas season?
Okay, so obviously, I think we're all probably kind of the same as kids. Like, whenever I got some kind of clothing item as a kid for Christmas, I hated it and I was mad about it.
Yep.
Like, now, I'm very high on getting clothes for Christmas. Like, I was thinking about what I wanted the other day, and, everything that I could think of was clothes-related. I'm a big quarter. I started the quarter zip trend, by the way. Okay, I just want to point that out. Okay, I was wearing quarter zips way before this was happening, and John Halley too. By the way, shout out John
Halley.
Shout out to John Halley. He's wearing one right now, actually.
Shout out.
So I've been
and
on,
Grady
been
Hamilton
on clothes for Christmas.
I've been on
Grady's
the
got
quarter
one
zip.
too.
I
There
swear
you
I was in the ground floor. My culture is not your costume.
You were in the mailroom.
I was, bro.
I was like,
I'm high on clothes for Christmas. One thing, okay, I'm gonna get hated for this one. One thing I'm low on Christmas movies. I'm burnt out on them. I can't really watch them anymore. Christmas Vacation I still love a lot.
That's
I watch
fire.
that one every year, but Home Alone doesn't hit the same for me anymore. I used to love Elf. I don't really like that one anymore. The Santa Claus is a pretty good movie still. I still watch that.
Elf is funny to millennials. It's not really a top funny movie, I would say.
I would agree with that. I don't know. I can't really watch them like I used to anymore.
National Lampoons is the Christmas movie, and it will
that
always
is actually
be.
true.
It will always be the Christmas movie. I'm high on that. I'm 100%. I'll die on that hill.
so that's
the number one.
That's
Polar
what you're
Express is
low on?
pretty valid too, though.
Yeah.
That scene where they
Facts.
drift that train across the ice is
That is
kind of
tough.
tough. I'll be
That is
honest
tough.
with you.
That is tough.
I mean, you see all the miscellaneous Christmas movies Andrew Walker from the main station tried to convince me that Home Alone and Polar Express were not Christmas movies. But again, that's a debate for another day.
How was the Polar Express not a
So
Christmas
I want to ask.
I'm
I want
praying
to ask
for
y'all
a
this.
Christmas miracle.
I wanna-
LeBron James 40-point game. on
So
Christmas.
what about Christmas hams and like foods and stuff like
Of
that?
course you would be.
like Christmas hams and foods. Are you high or low in those, Grady?
I love going home and getting home cooked meals. I'll be honest. I kind of eat like Jackson Vols over the holidays.
I don't eat that much,
Oh yeah, no, me neither. I normally eat one plate. That's what I was saying.
Facts.
Oh yeah, just one plate of a lot of ham. No, I mean, I am.
How
big,
high are you stacking
I'm-
that ham?
How high? How high is your plate of ham? Feet?
It's about
About 6 or 7
that's-
inches of
that-
ham,
hold on,
stacked up.
John, can you point the camera at me? This is about how high the stack is. I mean, almost like Kirby Smart clapping, you know.
clapping,
but it's like that. Yeah, that's how high the ham.
That was a good one.
That's how the high the ham
Sound
stack
real jolly.
is. But Michael, Christmas foods.
I mean, we kind of just eat the same thing, at my family, because none of us like turkey, at all. So we just kind of eat ham and mac and cheese and stuff anyway. So, I love mac and cheese. That's, my favorite thing in the planet. So,
Dude,
just eating that at Christmas. Yeah.
Turkey and dressing might be top foods of all time. I'll be honest with you. That's a goated food
I'm
combo.
not a turkey guy.
I will slap you.
I mean, I like turkey. Just I think turkey's for Thanksgiving and ham is for Christmas.
100%.
Unless you have a poultry allergy, then that might be something different and a
What a big
different
word
discussion
from
for another day.
Jackson Voles today.
What
Poultry.
is that a reference to?
Poultry, just meat, all meat, just meat. But
You're a
anyways,
big meat guy, Jackson.
I want to start with I want to talk about my highs and lows for Christmas season since it is my final holiday episode. Part of WSN again. I'll be on my retirement tour in the spring of 26. But for my highs, I would normally say putting up lights on the house, but ever since we moved down to Georgia, my mom just bought the automatic lights that change for every single holiday. So I mean that's up. Plus my dad's has 2 hip replacements, so he can't really do that anymore. But I want to talk about something high for the Christmas season. The first season that I have somebody to spend it with, my girlfriend Jamira, who's in the control room over there. I'm super excited to do Christmas activities with her.
She's watching on her phone.
I'm super excited to do Christmas activities
She'll watch
with
this
her.
back,
Going to look at the Christmas lights, in the cities, building gingerbread houses, stuff like that, decorating cookies. I mean, Christmas traditions with family, friends, and girlfriends and relationships. So
Plural or
that's
singular?
something.
That's what I was.
Relationship.
Isn't this a sports podcast?
Relationship. Yeah. So for that's what I'm high on for the Christmas season. Low, honestly, building snowmen. I'm not high on that because there's no snow in Georgia unless you go up to Blue Ridge or somewhere in the Georgia mountains. That's honestly what I think of. Or honestly, by the way, the twins are here in the control room, so I'm going to be going over there and building some Christmas stuff with them sometime before I, go back to my hometown. So
let me circle back on what I'm low on real quick, by the way. This is actually sports related. I'm low on the wait between the end of the college football playoff and the actual national championship game. That might be like the worst period in all of sports. Like that time when you're like, you got nothing going on. It's like 2-week break and you're like, man, I just wish these kids would get out here and play some football. Kind of how I feel sometimes. If Ohio State wins, I'm going to cry.
That's valid. I don't think they will, though.
I mean,
if Ohio State wins, it's really going to get me fired up.
You have a period of that with that can be filled with NBA and college basketball, aren't you?
Saw
high
my
on that?
transition.
College
Bro.
basketball,
Saw my
All
transition.
right, you know that picture of D-Wade throwing up the oop to LeBron?
And him
what
going like this?
just happened? Yeah, what just happened is you just didn't even catch the lob. You just let the ball go.
And you know what? That really gets me.
You looked for somebody else to catch the lob.
He was watching the
You're
contestant.
LeBron James going up for
No, I understand the law, but I wanted to do my own transition since Grady Hamilton. That's something I'm low on. I'm low on Grady Hamilton.
I said that too.
Interrupting my transitions throughout the entire season 6 of Sports Out of Pocket.
I'm sorry.
Get better. I mean, yeah, sorry.
He's trying to help you.
That's something. He's not my Santa's little helper. You're not my little helper.
I am.
He's my little helper. But honestly,
I'm Santa's
during
helper.
this break, I want y'all to cozy up next to the fireplace. I mean, we were talking zero chill all season, but it's all chill. It's getting cold in the city of dreams of Carrollton. Honestly, I think y'all need to get fired up. But before we get into that, let's show some more love to the other shows. And when we come back, we're going to have our final Fire Me Up about college football and the NFL of 2025. Stay tuned.
This is the Philly Sports Guy, and you're listening to Sports Out of Pocket on Wolf Sports Network.
It's time for Season 2 of the Playbook, and we're talking all things college football, putting together a better sophomore season than Tim Tebow in 2007.
To the listeners and everybody at Wolf Nation, I promise you one thing. You will never see an on-air personality work as hard as I will for Season 2 of the Playbook, and we will make this show better than any college football radio show will ever be for Season 2 of the Playbook.
Listen as we fulfill this promise, live, every Friday at noon.
Listen up, because I got to tell you, Sports Pack is back and better than ever right here on Wolf Sports Network. Sports Pack is UWG's one-stop shop for all things sports. From hot takes to heated debates and even your best bets for the week, Sports Pack has you covered. So don't miss out on the fun. Catch us right here on Wolf Sports Network every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. See you there.
From the first whistle to the final buzzer, Wolf Sports Network brings you the action you crave. Sports Pack is your all-access pass to the Wolves athletics. From football, basketball, baseball, soccer, and volleyball, and more. If the pack plays, we cover it. Passion, pride, pack. Don't miss Sports Pack every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 on Wolf Sports Network.
Cross them up. Live from Carrollton, Georgia, the city of dreams. We got you covered with the men's and women's basketball teams. Shooting a three, make it with ease, crossing you up, now you on a meme. And then they popped out and did it again like Baby Keem. Tune in 1 hour before tip-off of select home games this season for the West Georgia Wolves basketball teams. For the full list of live coverage, visit wolfsportsnetwork.com. Wolf Sports Network from inside the Coliseum.
It's time to get heated with Fire Me Up.
That's right. We are fired up for the final time of the 2025 year. And I want to start with myself before we transition into college football talk. I want to continuously talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, which I love so much to do during these Fire Me Up segments, except for the past few weeks. We lost to the Cowboys. We were up, by the way, we were up 21-0 and then 24 unanswered points against the Cowboys. I didn't get the opportunity to speak upon that last week because we were out on Thanksgiving break and, the week before that. But, honestly, the Eagles secondary has been absolutely abysmal, and Jalen Hurts can't do anything at all. Honestly, we need to fire Kevin Patullo. He needs to go. He needs to be gone. Bring in a guy like Frank Reich. Honestly, he has a lot of experience in the Philadelphia Eagles system. Honestly, I would love that move there. Fire Kevin Patullo. I mean, all Eagles fans are calling out for that. And then we go into Thanksgiving break and the weekend with that. We face the Chicago Bears, which Chicago Bears are a very, very scary team. I mean, they hadn't played anybody suitable or credible heading up to that Philadelphia Eagles on the past Sunday, and they absolutely mollywopped us. I mean, Caleb Williams looked like a dog, absolute dimes to, DJ Moore, and Colston Love went out there turning him into a I would say maybe borderline top 7 offensive rookie so far this season. And, it's a very tough team. Honestly, the NFC, we talked a lot about the AFC in the playoff pushes there, but the NFC might just be just as tough, especially for the Philadelphia Eagles. So, I mean, Eagles need to turn around or otherwise I will lose my mind. And I want to throw it to Grady Hamilton, who has something to say about a rebuttal that was said something earlier this episode where JT said Alabama did not deserve a playoff spot. Grady?
What's your logic on that, JT?
So it's a 2-loss team, first of all, I want to say, losing one to Florida State, who was unranked. But you could argue that was first game of the season. Alabama needs some time to ramp up. But still, that's a loss against an unranked team. And then you lose to Oklahoma, which, I mean, that's fair. That's an SEC opponent. That's a solid team. That's a playoff team. But if we're going off the logic, maybe I misspoke, but if we're going off the logic of if Alabama, whatever they do in the SEC championship, if that matters, then if they lose that game, they don't belong. But if they win, obviously they're going to be in the playoffs. But if the SEC championship just completely does not matter, which is what they're saying, I could see Alabama sneaking as like a 9 through 12 seed.
So if the college football playoff started today, would Bama be in?
Bama would be in. Yes.
Okay, so you're going to punish a team for...
I'm going off the fact of the SEC championship counting.
Okay,
but that's what they said
most
no
people
about.
Would argue that championship games will count to an extent. Like, if Georgia loses, they will obviously get dropped. But I don't see the logic in punishing a team and removing them from the playoffs when they are the number one team in the best conference. Obviously, this is one situation where you can look at it and say conferences are built differently. You're obviously not going to put, like, if the ACC championship loser, you're not going to put the ACC runner-up in there, but you have to put the SEC runner-up in there, and I think you could do that at the expense of even another SEC school like Ole Miss or Ole Miss probably would be the one that's my pick to go for Bama loses.
Yeah, we would be having a completely different conversation if Lane Kiffin was still in Ole Miss, or like if one of these, Texas A&M, if they didn't lose. Like, we'd be having a whole different conversation right now about if Alabama deserved it. But seeing that everything fell in their favor and then being a 2-loss team in the SEC, that it all just worked out so well for them that they're able to sneak into a playoff spot with 2 losses. I think they do get in. I don't think they make it very far.
So what's your logic about putting Notre Dame above Alabama?
I think Notre Dame is a better team. I mean, I believe they have a top 2 Heisman candidate in Jeremiah Love. That offense is really, really good. And, I mean, they deserve a playoff spot. I mean, they've proved it. They've been absolutely, they've been beating teams by 20, 30 points a week. They 100% deserve it. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Notre Dame deserves a playoff spot.
So, okay, I have a question. I want to go back to this. According to your logic, JT, I don't think that you would put Alabama in the playoff where it stands now. If you're going to put Notre Dame ahead of them, then you would have to follow with Miami, because I don't think you would try to argue that Miami is that much further behind Notre Dame, and I don't think you would put Notre Dame in and not put Miami in while Miami has the head-to-head. So I think that if you put those two ahead, that would drop Miami to Alabama to 11, and then you fill that with the 2 conference champions. So would you just drop Alabama from the playoffs entirely?
There's a reason why I'm not on the committee.
You do better than some of them do because you at least have some logic to your decisions. Speaking of logic to decisions, I want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons for a second. This one guy I saw, I forgot what his name was, and if you hear this somehow, sir, I apologize for trashing your take. He said that that Atlanta should, as their next head coaching hire Todd Monken. And I was like, man, this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. I'm going to hear him out. He then suggested they get Stetson Bennett as quarterback. What are you talking about? Stetson Bennett was a great college quarterback. He is not a professional level quarterback. He is just not going to be that guy. If you look at that, like the talent that was on that team around him, there's no way that Stetson Bennett is going to be the future of this team more than MP5 or good old Kirko.
You know, he's saying that just because it's a Georgia team and they think it's going to be a good fit, having a guy that played at Georgia going to the Atlanta Falcons. But there is so many other better options than...
I mean, I was born in the state of Georgia, but I'm not playing quarterback for the Falcons.
So I said time and time again, let's go to the coaching aspect for the Atlanta Falcons. I said time and time again, Raheem Morris, there were so many other better options, and all Atlanta Falcons fans praised Raheem Morris, saying, oh, he's going to be the savior. He's going to help lead MP.
Jackson, I can assure you, nobody on this
planet
planet said that.
Do you want to know who did say that?
If Andrew and Chase Jefferson said that, I'm sorry. That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I was very anti that.
Did say that. They did say that on Sports Out of Pocket, and I can pull that clip up later and maybe post it on Jackson Sports on Air. Go follow me on Instagram. But honestly, they said that
from your Instagram account.
They said Raheem Morris was going to be the savior, and he was the perfect fit to come back to the Atlanta Falcons and help lead them to an NFC championship. You had guys like Jim Harbaugh on the ranks. You had guys like Mike Vrabel that were interviewed, and you didn't hire those guys. You see Mike Vrabel with the New England Patriots and help leading them to an AFC East championship. An AFC East championship spot. I mean, and you see Jim Harbaugh, who has completely turned around this Chargers team since Anthony Lynn was the head coach over there in Los Angeles or San Diego or Philip Rivers era or whatever. I mean, you've seen these coaches absolutely turn a team's culture around, but Raheem Morris being the savior and being a guy who's going to help lead Atlanta Falcons fans were super hyped about.
Let me put it this way. I don't think that we hired Raheem Morris because we wanted to. That wasn't like our dream star hire. I believe that if we had the opportunity, the Falcons would have gone many other ways. But our franchise is not exactly on the up and up right now. So it's not like coaches are like chomping at the bit to try to come coach in the bins.
Grady, I'm going to disagree with you on that one.
You think so? Really?
I think Raheem Morris was handpicked by Rich McKay to come here, and I'll tell you why.
Because he hates our team?
The problem with the Atlanta Falcons is this, all right? I don't care who they hire. It's never going to change until Arthur Blank either sells the team or fires Rich McKay. It's one of those two things.
So it's like a Dallas Cowboys situation?
Yes, it's worse than that. Rich McKay,
I would say that.
I've already gone over and over on this again. The dude doesn't know what he's doing. He was a GM in Tampa. Him and Raheem were both there at the same time. They both got fired at the same time for a reason because they both know they don't know how to do their job correctly.
History repeats itself.
Rich McKay has been right there with Arthur Blank every step of the way. They've hired every coach that Arthur Blank has hired in Atlanta. He has fired at some point. That is astounding for as long as he's been there, that he's had to fire every coach that he's hired. The reason I think Raheem Morris was handpicked by Rich McKay is because if Bill Belichick comes in there and gets the job when all that was going on, guess what happens to Rich McKay? He's gone. Yeah. He's getting fired. If he brings in Mike Vrabel, guess what? McKay's gone. If he brings in Jim Harbaugh, he's gone. Raheem Morris is the only one that's not going to do that. You know why? Because he's a puppet for Rich McKay. That's why he was chosen.
I mean, the players and the playing call style would succeed. I know a lot of Atlanta Falcons fans like, oh, we got amazing defensive rookies. I mean, James Pierce Jr., Jalen Walker, guys like Billy Bowman. I mean, that's surely going to fix us on the defensive side and help lead us. And defense wins championships, according to some people in the control room, that they think defense wins championships. Clearly not. I mean, clearly that's not the case. I mean, so I want to ask this with the Atlanta Falcons maybe quarterback situation aside from the coach aspect of all things. I mean, Michael Penix Jr. is out for the season. You still have Kirk Cousins, I mean, on this last final couple years. Who is going to be the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons in the year of 2026?
I think they need to draft one. I mean, as much as I hate to say it, because you have a young quarterback in Michael Penix. You spent a first-round pick on him. So obviously you're not going to want to give up on him right away. You have an older quarterback in Kirk Cousins, but neither one of those guys are going to take you. If your goal is playoffs, those guys are not going to take you there. So if you're really wanting to, if Raheem Morris, if he's wanting to make the playoffs, he cannot start either of those guys. None of those guys are going to get that job done. They're going to have to either draft a new quarterback, which there's plenty of talent in this upcoming class. You're either going to have to draft a new quarterback or you're going to have to make some type of move in free agency.
Grady?
kidnap Baker Mayfield.
Mm.
Second
I
option,
agree.
get the team on a plane, and it's going to unfortunately crash, which will trigger a disaster draft in which we can reset our team after firing our management.
I mean, Justin
I
Fields.
think the first idea. I don't think any of those ideas are good.
So-
but like,
I have a third one.
I want to talk about
I
I want
wanna
to
hear
talk
it.
about a quarterback that was projected to go to the Atlanta Falcons a couple seasons ago before going to the Steelers and now the New York Jets. Justin Fields had solid production in Chicago.
If he steps into the state of Georgia, I'll kill him.
No, so I understand that the Chicago Bear, that whole route, may look a little less dim and light because of how successful Caleb Williams is doing in this Ben Johnson offense. And the whole situation in Chicago there. But Justin Fields led the Steelers team to a 4-1 record before getting benched for Russell Wilson. So I think it's a situational thing, an organizational thing with Justin Fields. Nobody's going to succeed in that New York Jets offense. Nobody. The last time we talked about this, the last time somebody succeeded was 2010 or 2011 when Mark Sanchez was the quarterback, and that was what, 14, 15 years ago.
Was that successful?
Was
that successful?
I would say that was
Isn't he the
successful.
guy that-
Back to no. I would say that was successful because that was back-to-back AFC championships for the New York Jets. They beat Tom. He beat Tom Brady. That was something that the Falcons couldn't do, but maybe Justin Fields can. When he heads to Atlanta and the Falcons, be a successful quarterback for him.
Justin Fields is just so awful at the game of football.
That is
I do
not
not
true. That is
understand.
not true.
It is so true.
Michael,
if
you're
he
wrong.
has the help that he needs,
Yes.
he's a better option than Penix and Kurt.
I don't know if he's a better option than Michael Penix.
He
I don't know
100%
about
is.
that.
Have you? You're seeing Michael Penix throw almost 4 picks a game.
Honestly,
Can we talk about college football?
I
hate
think
the
I
NFL.
think I think Marcus Mariota is a better option than Michael Penix Jr.
That's a
Let
take.
me say this because I'm looking. Put stats side by side. Marcus Mariota had a better completions percentage, more wins as a starter than the from the Atlanta Falcons and stuff like that. John Howie, honestly, John Howie.
I want to stop you real quick from saying that Marcus Mariota, the guy who quit on the Atlanta Falcons, is
preach.
better than MP9. There is no way in heck that you're going to say Marcus Mariota is better. Keep in mind, second overall draft pick as well. Guess what? He didn't win anything. He was in Tennessee. He was gone. I'm sorry. You got me so mad. I got it from my chair. Had someone take over to say that Marcus Mariota was better. But my golly goodness, he's not.
He was better statistically. He was more touchdowns, less interception, higher completion percentage. That's
That's
all
maybe
I gotta
true
say.
too.
Yeah.
That's maybe accurate. I don't know. Cam Newton wasn't the best NFL quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life. He's pretty fun to watch, though.
So who's the quarterback in 26? Before we hit the wrap.
It's going to be Michael Penix. I don't know why we're even asking this question. They're not going to punt on him. I don't know what you're.
Gunnar Stockton.
Ooh, I wouldn't hate. I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate that. It's gonna be Michael Penix, but I would love for them to make a move like we mentioned earlier in one of the earlier episodes. Kyler Murray could be an option. I would love to see Kyler Murray play for the Falcons with the help of having a decent offensive line. You're having Bijan in the backfield. You got Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts. You have the weapons on offense, and their defense is pretty solid. They have a great passing defense. Rushing defense could use a little bit of work, but You're having a solid defense. Until you change the coaching, obviously, you're probably not going to make a push to the playoffs. But I think that if you get a guy like Kyler Murray, as long as a new Black Ops or a new Battlefield doesn't drop, I think that you could possibly make a sneak into the playoffs.
I just want to preface very quick. Mariota statistically was better
Oh my
as
gosh.
the Atlanta Falcons starting
Shedeur
quarterback. than
Sanders
Michael
doesn't
Penix.
sound too bad right about now. When you're staring down Michael Penix.
Bro, I just want to go back and say some of my takes earlier on in the season were absolutely smack dab correct.
Oh, yeah,
Shedeur Sanders
we
starting
didn't
by
do
the
a
end of the
retro
season.
review.
I had the Chiefs placing third in the division. They're currently third. I had what was the other one? There was another one that we mentioned earlier in the show. It was about Joey Prater making the fantasy playoffs when he was 1-5 or something like that. My takes have been on fire. And don't even come at me saying I don't know ball, because obviously I do.
I said Ole Miss should have suspended Lane Kiffin about 4 weeks ago before he started doing all this BS trying to raid their locker room. So I want to let it be known that I was right on that one.
Michael?
I don't think I had any crazy take that was right. I
would
was
say
talking
the-
about the Colts
the
thing,
Colts
but
thing.
that was
thing
a
was
2-minute
pretty-
warning.
but that was that wasn't your take.
It's like having Saquon, just worse.
A little worse.
But better.
I think it's been a phenomenal season of Zero Chill Sports Out of
John
Pocket
Howie's
season
breaking in the
6.
studio.
John, stay tuned for John Howie's final curtain call episode tomorrow for Sports Pack at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank y'all so much for tuning into Sports Out of Pocket all season long for season 6 with the brand new cast, brand new crew, brand new voices. JT, Grady, Michael, thank you so much for taking on the Sports Out of Pocket legacy. And Jackson Voles will be on his retirement tour in 2026 of spring. My final season as the last OG of Sports Out of Pocket for season 7, lucky number 7. We'll see how that goes. But for JT, Grady, and Michael, hope y'all have happy holidays, and we will see y'all next year.